Have you ever done something for someone, then later sat alone asking yourself, why did I even agree to that? You were not being weak. You were being played. There's a name for it, dark psychology. It's the silent weapon manipulators use to hijack your emotions, twist your thoughts, and bend your behavior to their benefit. And the worst part? They do it so smoothly, you blame yourself. This is not limited to toxic partners or controlling bosses. It happens everywhere. At work, in friendships, even online. Compliments turn into control. Guilt becomes a leash. Validation is handed out like candy, only to keep you hooked. In today's world, manipulation doesn't yell. It smiles. It flatters. It studies your habits. With every scroll, every text, every compliment that feels a bit too good, there's a possibility someone is using psychology against you. You don't need to be paranoid, you need to be prepared. Because in a hyper-connected world where attention is currency, your mind is the battlefield. That's why in this video, we're breaking down 7 dark psychology defense tactics to learn. Modern, practical tools to help you see the game and stop playing it. The good news? There are ways to fight back. Real strategies, backed by psychology. And once you spot the tactics, you'll never fall for them the same way again. Awareness isn't a luxury, it's your shield. Number 1, pattern disruption awareness. Manipulators don't always need words to control you. They use patterns. One of the most dangerous tools they rely on is repetition. Emotional cycles that feel familiar start to shape how you think and behave. It begins with kindness, attention, or affection. Then suddenly they withdraw. You're left anxious, confused, and desperate to get that warmth back. This repeated cycle creates something psychologists call trauma bonding. Over time, your brain starts craving the emotional high that follows the low. You forgive easily. You overlook red flags. You excuse behavior because it fits the pattern you now expect. This is not love or loyalty. It's emotional conditioning. The person causing the harm sets the rhythm, and without noticing, you start dancing to it. The key is to pause and ask, is this a pattern I've seen before? The moment you recognize the loop, you begin to take back control over how you respond. Number 2, emotional labeling. When someone gaslights you, they twist your perception to make you question your reality. It often starts small, denying what they said, minimizing your feelings, or labeling you as too sensitive. Over time, this creates emotional confusion. You begin to second-guess your reactions, your memories, even your identity. That's where emotional labeling becomes powerful. By simply naming your emotion, saying, I feel hurt or I feel disrespected, you bring clarity to chaos. It reminds your brain that your response is valid, even if the other person tries to erase it. Research shows that labeling emotions activates the prefrontal cortex, calming the amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for fear and stress. This is not just a mental trick, it's a biological reset. Instead of defending your sanity, you're anchoring yourself in truth. You're not overreacting, you're reacting to manipulation, and calling it what it is gives you power they hoped you wouldn't use. Number 3, dopamine control shield. Manipulators control others by triggering dopamine spikes, quick emotional highs that create dependency. They use praise, attention, or affection to make you feel seen, then suddenly withdraw it. This unpredictable cycle keeps your brain hooked, chasing the next moment of approval. It's not always obvious. A boss may overwhelm you with compliments, then quietly shift the workload onto you, knowing you'll accept it to keep the praise coming. The emotional roller coaster makes you question yourself. What did I do wrong? How do I get back in their good graces? That's the trap. Your self-worth becomes tied to someone else's inconsistent behavior. This tactic works because the brain responds more to inconsistent rewards than predictable ones. It's the same principle used in gambling. To protect yourself, notice when praise feels too intense too quickly, or when silence suddenly follows kindness. Balance matters. Anyone who controls how you feel doesn't deserve control over your choices. Number 4, silence is power. Silence is often mistaken for weakness, but it's one of the most powerful tools against manipulation. Manipulators thrive on immediate reactions. They send guilt-tripping messages, back-to-back texts, or last-minute emotional demands, hoping you'll respond without thinking. That urgency isn't accidental. It's designed to keep you emotionally trapped and mentally cornered. When you pause, even for 30 minutes, the power shifts. That silence forces them to confront their own intentions and weakens the control they're trying to build. It gives you time to assess without pressure, to respond from logic, not emotion. In relationships or toxic work dynamics, this tactic creates space. Space for clarity, boundaries, and self-respect. Silence is not passive, it's active resistance. It protects your energy from being hijacked by someone else's urgency. Emotional manipulators fear stillness because it breaks the loop they rely on. Pausing to breathe, to think, and to stay quiet is sometimes the loudest answer you can give. Number 5, the mirror technique. Some people build quick trust, not out of connection, but to gain control. They use charm, compliments, and fake warmth to lower your guard. It feels nice at first. Who doesn't like to be praised? But soon, the compliments come with expectations. They start asking for favors, pushing boundaries, and making you feel guilty if you say no. This is where the mirror technique helps. When someone flatters or persuades you, respond by repeating their words calmly without adding emotion. For example, say, "You think I'm always so helpful," and stop there. If their smile fades or their tone changes, it shows their intentions weren't genuine. People with honest motives don't get uncomfortable when mirrored. They stay consistent. But manipulators often stumble when their tactics are reflected back. This method forces them to confront their own behavior and gives you a quiet, powerful way to stay in control without direct conflict. Number 6, information dieting. Oversharing feels natural when someone shows interest or seems to care, but not everyone deserves access to your personal life. Some people collect your emotions like ammunition, waiting for the perfect moment to use them. You mention a fear, and weeks later it's thrown back at you in an argument. In the digital age, this has become even more dangerous. Private messages, emotional posts, even voice notes can be twisted, saved, and used against you. Manipulators often appear most supportive when you're vulnerable, not out of compassion, but control. They listen to learn your weak spots. Once they know what hurts you, they test your limits. That's why it's essential to ask yourself before sharing, does this person consistently respect me? Not everyone asking about your pain wants to help. Some only want power. Protecting your inner world doesn't make you cold. It keeps you in control of your own narrative. Number 7, boundary calibration. It usually starts small. An offhand joke, a sarcastic remark, a comment that feels wrong but is brushed off as just kidding. These moments are tests, whether the person admits it or not. They're checking how much they can get away with. It's called boundary calibration, and it's a tactic manipulators use to measure your tolerance. If you stay silent after that first sting, they learn you'll probably stay silent again. Soon, it's not just a joke, it's control. They push further, hiding behind charm or pretending to be honest. You start questioning your sensitivity instead of their intentions. That's when the power imbalance grows. The key is to respond early. A simple, calm statement like, "That doesn't sit right with me," can change the entire direction. It's not about being aggressive, it's about being clear. People who respect you will adjust. Those who don't, were never looking for equal ground. Reacting with raw emotion is exactly what manipulators count on. They want you flustered, confused, and impulsive, because emotional reactions are easier to control. The more you pause and respond with calm reasoning, the less power they have. One of the strongest protections you can build is knowing your own emotional triggers. When you understand what makes you feel shame, guilt, or fear, those buttons lose their force. Self-gatherness is another powerful shield. When your confidence comes from within, flattery and guilt lose their grip. You don't need others to confirm your worth. A small daily habit that strengthens this is writing down one moment you held a boundary. It rewires your brain to notice your strength. Over time, you'll stop second-guessing yourself. That's how control begins, when you stop needing approval and start recognizing manipulation not as power, but as weakness trying to wear a mask of control. You've just learned 7 powerful defense tactics grounded in modern psychology. These are not just theories, they're tools for real life. Whether it's silent manipulation at work, emotional confusion in relationships, or social pressure online, you now have strategies to protect your mental space. Being used doesn't make you weak. Recognizing it and refusing to allow it again shows strength. Every boundary you set, every silence you choose, every red flag you acknowledge is a win. If this helped you see things more clearly, share it. Like this video, subscribe for more, and comment below, "I protect my peace."